As the dawn sky brightens, a shrill call resounds from the mist-enshrouded sugarcane fields of South Taiwan, signaling the start of a new day. The Formosan ring-necked pheasant was once commonly seen in Taiwan. Nicknamed screaming chicken by local people on account of its blood-curdling call, the species was formally recorded by the British naturalist Robert Swinhoe in 1836. Apart from small populations in Hualien, Taidong, Tainan, and Taichung counties, Formosan ring-necked pheasants have now all but disappeared from the island. The species is listed as a rare and protected bird under the wildlife conservation law. Originally, the Formosan ring-necked pheasant inhabited mixed forests and grasslands. However, with the development of the local sugar industry and other agricultural change in Taiwan, the species gradually adapted to living in sugarcane, melon, and yam fields. At a time when animal protein was scarce in rural areas, alongside bandicoot rats and Formosan hares, it became known as one of the 3 delicacies of the cane field. Relatively large in size and eye-catchingly colored, Formosan ring-necked pheasants were more easily spotted than other native pheasants, including the Mikado pheasant and Swinhoe's blue pheasant, because it lived close to humans. But now its future is in jeopardy. So why exactly did this once common, beautiful bird become so rare? Let's find out more about the species. Male and female Formosan ring-necked pheasants look quite different. Adult males are mostly covered in speckled bronze plumage. The patch of iridescent indigo blue feathers on the neck and head is particularly stunning. The species gets its name from the broken line of white feathers around the neck. During the breeding season, the male's teardrop-shaped wattle becomes broader and redder, and its crest feathers stand more upright. This regal appearance and its perfect jewel-like coat of glossy feathers gave it the name Pearl of the Grasslands. On their feet, males have a long, sharp spur, which distinguishes them from other birds. Plumage is used to attract a mate, and, as we shall find out, the spurs also come in useful during the breeding season. Female ring-necked pheasants are smaller in size and considerably plainer in appearance. Like simple country lasses, they dress in drab browns. Only during the breeding season do they add a touch of color, a sultry smudge of orangey red shadow around the eyes. Generally forming small groups, the pheasants scratch and peck at the ground in search of food. As well as grain crops, they feed on the leaves, stalks, flowers, fruit, and seeds of various plants. Sometimes they can be seen eating fallen guavas, tangerines, and other fruit in orchards. Other items on their menu include worms and insects. These provide protein. Researchers have found that the pheasants often use their feet and beak simultaneously when feeding. The feet scratch away leaves while they peck at the ground. Small grains of sand and grit are ingested to aid food digestion and to provide valuable minerals. In the heat of the midday sun, the ring-necked pheasant hides in the cool undergrowth, where it rests and preens its feathers. Sand and dust baths help keep them clean. By puffing out their feathers and beating their wings in the dust, the birds scatter warm sand onto their bodies. This helps maintain the precious feathers that enable them to fly for their lives and find a mate. Ring-necked pheasants face a number of natural predators, including feral cats and dogs, rodents, snakes, and raptors. Understanding the laws of natural selection, the bird is constantly on the alert. Any movement in the grass sends it running for the undergrowth. It crouches in the long grass, stock still until danger has passed. Once the coast is clear, it slowly makes its escape. In times of necessity, pheasants can take to the air in short spurts of flight. As evening approaches, one by one the pheasants fly up into the thickly leaved trees to roost for the night. Up high and out of harm's way, they can sleep in peace without fear of cat or snake attack. At present, only a handful of people in Taiwan are researching the Formosan ring-necked pheasant's ecology and behavior. To understand populations in the wild, researchers venture out in the deep night to catch individuals and attach radio transmitters to their backs. After releasing, these birds can then be tracked to learn more about their activity and behavior. Tracking pheasants is laborious and hard. Researchers rise before dawn to get to the study area at first light. Holding radio receivers, they track the signals emitted from the transmitters on the birds' backs. From the pitch, strength, and pulse rate of the pips made by the receiver, they can determine where the pheasant is and where it is going. Using triangulation, they can quickly and accurately locate their target bird. Through their painstaking efforts, researchers now have information about the activity range and time budget of the bird. For Taiwan's birds, breeding season starts from February and March each year. In the tall pampas grass, yellow-bellied prinias sing their hearts out, and water hens form pairs beside marshy ponds. Love is in the air. Male ring-necked pheasants begin patrolling their territory with shrill voices and puffed-out chests. All male intruders are chased off immediately, mostly voluntarily and without a fuss. As well as all the territorial bluff and bluster, tidbitting males also cluck softly to females, calling them to share food. Males and females that form breeding pairs stick closely together. The male vigilantly guards his hen from other males and protects her while she eats. As the pressure to breed and pass on genes increases, the competition between males becomes red hot. Cockfights break out between not just two males, but sometimes 3 or even 4. Scores are not settled easily, and fights to defend territory and mate get fiercer and fiercer. Look closely at the feet of these males whose fight takes them up into the air in a fury of wings, feathers, and claws, and you'll see that this is where the spurs on their heels come into their own. Pecking and scratching, the male with the longest, sharpest spurs usually wins. Gradually, the testosterone-fueled bouts diminish, and the tough males start showing their softer, gentler side. He flirts, bobbing and tilting his body to show off his brilliant feathers, circling his mate in a ritual mating dance. In the end, the female accepts his advances, and the two birds mate. Male Formosan ring-necked pheasants usually have more than one consort. After coupling, the females find a safe place on their own to build a nest and lay their eggs. The job of hatching and rearing chicks is shouldered entirely by the females. The happy-go-lucky male has nothing more to do with his family. This female bears a transmitter on her back. As she mated, built her nest, and laid her eggs, researchers were able to study the previously unknown breeding activities of her species. Females incubate 2 clutches of eggs a year. Each nest contains between 7 and 12 eggs. They take around 25 days to hatch. As she sits on her clutch, every so often she gently turns her eggs over to ensure that they receive her body warmth evenly and increase the chance of hatching. The nesting hen blends inconspicuously into her environment. She is well camouflaged by her coat of dull browns, which hides her from predators. The northwesterly monsoon brings some respite to the heat of the early summer afternoon. The hen sits out the rain, protecting her eggs from the wet. After the storm, she shakes the pearls of rain from her feathers, and the various animals emerge again. A common rat snake slithers out in search of food. Ring-necked pheasant's eggs make a good meal for him. The snake stealthily approaches its target. It raises its head and with a hiss strikes like an arrow at the hen on her nest. Although snakes are formidable opponents, the mother pheasant fights back with beak and claw. Her instincts tell her to protect her offspring, and she does this well. After incubating her eggs for many days and nights, the hen can no longer resist hunger. She gets up and leaves the nest for a moment to find food. While she is gone, one of the chicks hatches. Its peeping goes unanswered. When the hen returns to her nest, she seems to know that one of her babies is gone. She calls frantically. The chick hears her and makes its way back to the nest and its mother's warmth. Most of the other eggs will be hatched within 24 hours of the first chick appearing. After sheltering under their mother's wings while their feathers dry, the tiny chicks follow her out of the nest in search of food. They leave the nest forever to make their home elsewhere. One or 2 months later, the chicks are still with their mother. Both male and female chicks are clothed in the simple brown feathers of their mother that camouflage them into their surroundings. The mother leads her group of offspring here and there in search of food. The chicks peck on the ground, while mother keeps a watchful eye. At that moment, an eastern marsh harrier circles overhead looking for prey. Constantly on the alert for danger, the mother pheasant saw the threat already and began making a low-pitched clucking sound to warn her chicks. Hearing their mother's call, the chicks freeze motionless. Camouflaged by their feathers, they watch as the harrier flies closer. The mother sounds an even more urgent warning that sends the chicks running into the long grass, where they bury themselves and evade detection by the sharp-clawed predator. The chicks grow day by day. Soon they enter the fledgling stage. This is the time when mortality is at its highest. They are easily killed by predators or accidents. This youngster has got its leg caught in a net. Even if it manages to escape, the chances are that it will be crippled for life. Apart from accidents and predation, another major threat to the Formosan ring-necked pheasant is genetic contamination. Since the 1960s, Taiwan began farming imported species of pheasant, like the common pheasant, for their meat and plumage. Some escaped into the wild, where they bred with native species. Analysis of the genetic makeup of blood samples from wild pheasants in Taiwan has revealed that most wild populations of the native Formosan ring-necked pheasant show some genetic contamination by non-native subspecies. If interbreeding continues, pure Formosan ring-necked pheasants could become extinct in the wild.
Sugarcane fields owned by the Taiwan Sugar Corporation are being used for new construction projects in Taiwan. According to my research over the years, cane fields are an important habitat for Formosan ring-necked pheasants. They are being dug up and replaced by schools, the Taiwan High-Speed Railway, the new freeway, and industrial development in Tainan. All these projects either pass through or are sited on sugarcane fields. The Formosan ring-necked pheasant faces serious habitat loss because of these major construction works. In addition, the freeways and the high-speed railway are cutting large areas of cane field into small segments, and this is resulting in habitat fragmentation.
From Chun's research, we can clearly see that habitat loss and habitat fragmentation are the two main threats to the Formosan ring-necked pheasant's survival in Taiwan. Therefore, the most direct and effective way to save this precious bird from extinction would be to preserve its original habitat. In recent years, Taiwan's Forestry Bureau has been actively promoting the reforestation of lowland areas all around Taiwan. In addition to increasing the amount of green space in Taiwan, this action is also giving birds like the Formosan ring-necked pheasant a new home. If habitat can be rehabilitated, it is not hard to imagine that scenes of man and bird in harmonious existence will soon be seen again in the not-too-distant future. When that time comes, the unique laughing call of our precious pearl of the grasslands will be forever close to our ears.